let's check out the darkest Family Guy jokes that turned out to be true.
Family Guy predicted Hollywood's most prolific predators, including this chilling joke about Brett Ratner. In their
It's like someone
parody
is
of
on the
film
inside.
Taken, Family Guy shows a version of the auction scene where Stewie infiltrates it and pretends to be one of the traffic girls. It all just seems pretty
Terrible.
standard until you notice the throwaway line they drop in halfway through the
Scary.
skit.
I have 75,000. Thank you, Brett Ratner.
It's almost a connecting joke really, and not the full punchline. The episode aired in 2012, a long time before any of Ratner's shame became public. Name-dropping Brett Ratner had a lot of dangerous legal implications of course, but they did it anyway. Eventually Ratner was caught up in the Me Too allegations when a wave of assault allegations came out against him. The director of the Rush Hour films, among other Hollywood blockbusters, never truly recovered his reputation.
Oh my god, such great movies as well, and now I feel like I'm never watching these movies again the same way.
And it got even worse later on when the Epstein files were released, and they showed that Ratner had a long and friendly relationship with Epstein. They were even pictured together in this one.
Oh, but guys, I've never visited the island. I know I mentioned 50,000 times in the files, but I never visited the island. Like, holy, I can't with these guys, and nobody's getting any accountability.
We can see them both with
No
two women in their
consequences.
arms, as like
Nah, just a random picture of him and his cousin. Okay, like, come on.
they were even pictured together. In this one, we can see them both with two women in their arms.
Look at
As like
that.
most of the Family Guy jokes, the jab of Ratner was so insane that it just seemed completely ridiculous. But if they actually released the real Epstein files and Ratner is proven to be a co-conspirator, it does make you wonder if their joke is just absurd or actually based in reality.
No,
but while
never
Family Guy
absurd.
never
All
really
makes
made
sense.
jokes predicting Epstein's downfall before 2019, there are some eerie jokes about his other possible associates. The most telling is their 2009 episode Halloween on Spooner Street, which shows Bill Clinton playing spin the bottle with a group of children.
I think I've seen this.
All right, let's go make some white water.
Their line of "let's go make some white water" refers to the name for Bill's numerous controversies and scandals during his time in office. Whether the writers had something more specific in mind or not, it fits the pattern perfectly. Another case where the joke aged in a direction nobody expected. However, a much more concrete link can be made to Bryan Singer. Hollywood has no shortage of creeps, and it's insane how many of them were exposed by Family Guy years before the full truth came out.
Like, we have Family Guy, we have The Simpsons. Who is behind the storytelling? Who is writing the script? Who are these people on the inside that don't know shit, but they are behind the scene and we never know who they are or their name or anything? You know, guys, they know things and they're just giving us hints and letting the people discover it by themselves. Because they don't maybe want to endanger themselves and they don't want to endanger their own families, which I also understand.
The episode Peanut Butter Kid from season 14, Stewie
The
is selected
peanut
as
butter.
the new face of a peanut butter brand and finds fame as a child star. As Hollywood insiders,
that
the Family
Bieber?
Guy writers would have known how dangerous this is for young people, and they made sure to include a warning within the episode. Brian often stands in as a kind of version of the writer's voice, as though Seth is talking through the show, although it's obviously still self-deprecating. But keeping this in mind, here he tells Stewie this: "There are tons of actors like this. They started out like you, but eventually they were destroyed by their parents' greed, drugs, or perverted Hollywood directors." Stewie then responds, "Oh, like Bryan Singer?" At the time, Singer was still a respected name. He had directed the X-Men films as well as a load of other blockbusters. The studios would protect him to an extent. It's such an on-the-nose pointed joke that could only be in there if there was some truth or at least a commonly mentioned rumor to attribute to it. But at the time, people didn't care. Again, they only noticed it later on when the allegations were openly made. The Family Guy writers must have been so freaked out seeing that Singer could just openly exist in Hollywood, despite what they had known about him for years. It wasn't until 2017 that Singer was brought down by fresh lawsuits and news stories surrounding his alleged activities with underage boys. In season 19, which aired after the dust had settled, the Family Guy writers took another jab at both Singer and Hollywood's culture of silence.
Excuse me, how old are you?
Not of legal age anywhere in the world.
Have fun, tell whoever you want. Weirdly, no one cares about this.
And proof that the Family Guy writers really knew the dirty secrets going on behind
Definitely.
Hollywood.
Why
As
would
Family
they-
Guy's done over 500 episodes, and they've never
Yeah.
been shy about exposing Hollywood's biggest celebrities, including even Matt Damon. In their 2018
What?
episode
Matt?
HTTP Pete,
What
Seth
about
MacFarlane
Matt?
and the writers added a cutaway gag incorporating lots of Hollywood's most infamous predators. In a classic bit of shock humor, Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, and Woody Allen are shown as the Marvel's The Offenders. But then Family Guy goes somewhere that
Offenders.
people weren't expecting, ending the gag with this line.
Is Matt Damon coming?
No, but he knows about all of us. He's very aware of what's going on here, you see.
Matt Damon has never been
Yo.
accused of misconduct, so what's the context here? Well, in the
Very
fallout of the
aware.
Me Too movement and the allegations about Weinstein, lots of people were wondering just how Hollywood could have kept such an open secret for so long. Many of Hollywood's stars took to the networks to clear their names, but often they just ended up creating more headlines. Matt Damon's interview from the time was just one example. Trying to distance himself from Weinstein and his crimes, he said this to ABC.
And I knew he was a womanizer, you know, I wouldn't want to be married to the guy, but like, I'm not, you know.
Matt Damon had already admitted to knowing something was up, and now people were
Yeah,
suspicious
that's like
that he knew
the best to go and say, I knew a small thing, but I didn't know anything else. Just like to admit that you knew something, but that's it. I mean, yeah, you tried to save your own face there, but it kind of did make it a bit more real, because how much are you choosing to share with us? Because I'm sure you are not sharing the full truth.
Matt Damon had already admitted to knowing something was up, and now people were suspicious that he knew much more than he was letting on. One comment from the time reads, "The acting skills in this video is better than their whole careers is." Another states the obvious even more
Careers.
plainly. They knew, they all knew. Well,
There's-
Seth MacFarlane
there's so
and
many
Family
of
Guy
them who
weren't
know.
blind either, and they
We
weren't
don't even
afraid to
know.
call out Matt Damon. This isn't unearned at all either. Seth MacFarlane himself has never been afraid to call out abuses of power despite the risks to his career. As we'll find out, they've often been years or even decades ahead, exposing celebrities in ways people only noticed after the truth came out. Family Guy has been calling out Hollywood's creepiest celebrities years before anyone ever believed them. In 2013, in front of the entire world, Seth MacFarlane stood at the Oscars podium and made one joke that nobody understood at the time. It was played completely deadpan, no smile, no wink. He just said it and moved on.
The 2012 nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role are Sally Field in Lincoln, Anne Hathaway in Les Miserables, Jackie Weaver in Silver Linings Playbook, Helen Hunt in The Sessions, and Amy Adams in The Master. Congratulations, you five ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein.
4 years later,
There is no way he said that 4 years before. No, and nobody even questioned it.
when Harvey Weinstein was exposed as one of the most prolific predators in Hollywood history, people
It's
went
so sad that these women, even like her standing next to him smiling and she knows, and they're like just smiling because they cannot say anything, maybe because they have signed something, or they fear their own lives, or they fear their own careers in the industry.
back and found this clip, and they had one question. How did the creator of a seemingly stupid cartoon know what the A-list stars, the executives, and the journalists who covered Hollywood every day all claimed they had absolutely no idea about? You see, Seth never made that Weinstein joke by accident. When the allegations broke, he explained in a now deleted tweet, "In 2013, my friend and colleague Jessica Barth, with whom I worked on the TED films, confided in me regarding her encounter with Harvey Weinstein
So
and his
he knew.
attempted advances. It was with this account in mind that when I hosted the Oscars in 2013, I couldn't resist the
2 years
opportunity to
after.
take a hard swing in his direction. Make no
Nice.
mistake, this came from a place of loathing and anger. When that seemingly wasn't good
But
enough,
look how smart he is and how tactical. He waited for the right moment and the right time. He didn't go immediately jump on Twitter and talk about it. He waited for a bigger exposure. And what is bigger than the Oscars? And literally saying it out loud like that 2 years after. Patience, my friend, your time might come.
for the media, Jessica Barth came out in Seth's defense, saying that he respected her wishes. It shows that while Seth might make crude jokes, when things get real, he has a good heart. But while the rest of Hollywood was
Okay,
trying
I
to
have,
wash
like,
their hands
respect
and
for him, but
distance
also
themselves
you
from the
never
cover-up, Seth,
Look at the pictures of all
while
of
the
these
rest
women.
of Hollywood was trying to wash their hands and
And the fact that
Distance
Taylor
themselves from the
Swift is there, and I literally always wondered, like, okay, Taylor is awesome, but she's not that awesome. You know what I mean? Like, how is she like the greatest of all time? What is going on? Why is she the richest pop star ever?
cover up,
Or
Seth
star.
never had to. His hands were already
Singer.
clean. And it makes it that much more compelling when Family Guy exposes predatory celebrities, especially when the truth comes out about them years later. For example, Family Guy knew the real truth about Ellen years before anyone else, as we can see from this episode in season 9, which aired back in late 2010.
So you
Ellen
wanna hear
only
about
talks
my
when
movie?
her
I
guest
had
is
a
talking.
We spent
great
3
weekend this
months
weekend.
shooting in
I danced
Louisiana.
all over
And, you know,
my
it's a
house.
thriller,
I
but
try to
it's
dance
really
in
a
every
love
room at least
story,
once a
too.
week. I also listen to jazz while I vacuum, which is cool.
Despite her reputation at the time for being the kindest person on TV, she was not saved from Family Guy, as they clearly saw there was a monster beneath this nice facade. An opinion that would later be proved correct years later when allegations surfaced about her true conduct, when her show's staff described her as acting superior, not even looking people in the eye below her, and often abusing them for perceived mistakes. Today we all know Ellen is a monster. We even made an entire video about this a year ago.
I never watched
and
this
Family Guy
video.
made sure
I
to
actually I think I saw 2 episodes of Ellen or some moments here and there from the Ellen show. I was never really into it.
capitalize on this later on, getting at least a little bit of payback for all the people she mistreated.
So please, give today. Because no one should have to spend Thanksgiving watching a millionaire try on sweaters.
They even made their own parody of her to drill it in. Lots of people could have made jokes like this after the fact, but it was only Family Guy that made them years before as well, to
And
such a
nobody
wide audience
said
with such
anything.
strong conviction. This
Honestly, you guys, this is gonna make us from now on watch the episodes with a different mindset. If you see something that is like out of place and you don't understand why, start researching, start investigating, because there is truth in it.
Helen disingenuous
It
bit
just
is almost
comes
hidden
out
in the
in 2 or 3
background
years from now.
compared to other Family Guy jokes. It's really a hilarious summation of everything that was wrong with Ellen, from her falseness to the way she used charity and social issues to boost her own fame. Maybe this one time is just a coincidence. After all, Family Guy makes dozens of jokes every episode, and they've released hundreds of episodes. Even a stop clock is right twice a day. But as you look deeper...
No, what I actually do, I do not think it's the clock twice and it's a coincidence. What I think they are doing is because they don't want to put themselves in any problems, they are making hundreds of episodes that make no sense. There is no truth in it. And then they are bringing you this one truth, you know, here and there. So you by yourself need to figure out what is real and what is not.
Too many examples come up to believe this is all just a coincidence.
No,
like this joke they
nothing
made about
is,
Kevin
guys.
Spacey.
Come on.
$10.
$5.
$8 and I'll do it.
Fine.
Help! I've escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement! Help me!
This came from one of the earliest seasons of the show, and it aired in 2005, over a decade before the allegations about Spacey's misconduct emerged. They could
Yeah, I
have used
remember
anyone
that.
for the joke, real or fictional. Of course, they could have easily just used Herbert, which,
Yeah.
while fitting, might have taken a bit of the sting out of the joke, so instead, they didn't. And it's why when Seth was asked about the joke years later, he said he didn't remember who pitched the joke, and that other writers in the room explained the rumours to him. A producer for the show confirmed this, saying that a story involving Spacey and a visit to a London park late at night had prompted the idea. It seemed like too telling of a detail to be easily explained away. And while Spacey was never actually found guilty in a criminal trial, he has made settlements in civil litigation against him, and his name and reputation will never truly recover. And even just the creepy YouTube videos he released during the trials really made people wonder what was going on behind that guy's mind.
Oh my God.
But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you?
Oh my God. The way he's looking through my soul and with that pause, I am creeped out. He's scary here. He's not even acting. That's him. That's who he is. Like, I would understand if he was like in a thriller movie and he's the murderer or something. My God. No, not Kevin.
This is probably how lots of Family Guy's prophetic jokes actually came true. They were working off of rumors, bits of information available to them as Hollywood insiders. And while they were probably never close enough to get the full story, they could still poke fun at the bits that did leak out.
Yeah.
As you can't do things like this lightly. Even when the laws are clear, proving your innocence can still cost tons of money. But because the rumor was out there and known, it wasn't seen as a legal risk, and Spacey, of course, never challenged it. The Family Guy's co-showrunner actually explained this in more detail. The episodes are vetted by the legal standards department, and either there has to be some basis for a joke, or it has to be so insane and unbelievable that no one would take it seriously. And honestly, in some of these instances, both were true. But people often criticize the show just for being crude, popcorn TV that always takes the low-hanging fruit and never does anything to challenge the audience. It just seemingly relies on gross out and shock humor.
My child is destroying my house right now, I hear
Is
it.
also the reason it's so popular and that it's thrived online today. Family Guy's jokes usually stand up by themselves, and it makes them perfect for the online world and short form content.
Yeah.
And despite how lazy people say the structuring is and how bad the show's gotten in recent years, it's really hard to think of any other show that can do the same thing they can. It's because Family Guy's jokes often just seem simple, but they're also authentic. They just point towards the elephant in the room, the thing that nobody wants to acknowledge, but that everyone already knows about.
redirect you
The
towards
show's
it.
sarcastic, cutting, and mean-spirited jokes are often things we've all thought to ourselves. And it's this willingness to call them out and make fun of the absurdity and crude parts of life that gave Family Guy its popularity in the first place. And it's why Family Guy has the confidence to call out all of these creepy celebrities, whether or not it was socially acceptable to do at the time. You know, today, people lament modern Family Guy's excessive padding, its strange character choices, and the feeling that the soul left the show, as Seth himself stopped putting loads of time into it years ago, focusing nearly all of his energy on other projects instead. But just like modern Simpsons, Family Guy does occasionally have a few good episodes, and often some really good jokes inside of it. When it goes back to its roots and confronts modern reality, that's when people gain enjoyment from it. And this season 23 joke about AI went viral for this exact reason. It's like a last grasp. The clip still has the new Disney Family Guy's weird animation, which ironically looks like it was upscaled by AI. Peter also sounds sort of strange, but the meta joke it makes about AI was enough to carry it to millions of views. But the tragic truth is we may never get more real warnings from Family Guy anymore. When Disney bought Fox in 2019, they also got control over Family Guy, and their tenure has seen
These are like the worst, man. Disney is the devil of, like, the devil, Disney. Yeah. The devil of Hollywood.
worst ratings yet. Just like how Disney ruined Marvel, Star Wars.
Exactly. Disney's ruining everything.
And the show had exposed predators and all these creepy celebrities for decades without running into any real legal trouble. But once Disney got a hold of it,
so we need
the
another
legal
Family
issue
Guy,
suddenly
maybe Rick
became
and
an
Morty or
excuse to
something.
censor these kinds of jokes. Rich Chappelle, that showrunner we mentioned before, has publicly acknowledged this despite the backlash he must have gotten from his comments. In 2022, he said that Disney owns so many properties that I will find myself making legal arguments that I know are winners about parody, and why we can get away with certain things. And then the question becomes, well, that may be, Rich, but Marvel doesn't want to see his characters portrayed in this light. So suddenly, he's got to worry about stepping on toes and keeping Disney's armies of lawyers extra happy.
Yeah, of
Along with the
course.
simple effects of time, it's something that killed the show. But they have subtly pushed it in exactly the wrong direction for Family Guy to be relevant again, completely watering down
Look at that 6'7".
the truth that was once hidden within these episodes. But let's just think about what all of this means for a second. Spacey, Weinstein, Singer, Ratner, all of these creepy celebrities that were allowed to just have free reign creating our culture and shaping our country's narratives, the people who were protected by journalists, studios, agents, all the A-list actors turning a blind eye. None of these people ever said a word. The only people who told the truth were cartoon writers, and the only reason they could tell it was because they buried it inside of a joke. Because in Hollywood, the one thing more protected than a predator is a punchline. And this is why Disney's just killing the show, as the lawyers are too worried about jokes that tell the truth. But eventually a show will come along that can actually speak to power once again and expose these predators for what they really are.
Or at the end of the day, like, we really need to protect the people who are exposing, and in a way then we're gonna have more people exposing. Like, if we give them a safe space and we protect them, then we are gonna have more truth here and there come out. But yeah, keep an eye, and if you notice these type of things, and if it feels like you have that instinct of feeling that there might be truth into it, then Probably there is, like 99% of the time there is, but you still don't know how, where, when, and eventually the truth comes out. But that is it, guys. What a creepy video in a way, because I have watched Family Guy. I have laughed about these jokes. I have so many reactions of Family Guys that you guys really enjoy as well. That's why I wanted to make this one as well a bit more of a serious tone of Family Guy. But yeah, now when I think about it, how many of those jokes were real? And I was like just laughing along and not even knowing. But that is it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy more videos like this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and heads up, a new merch is coming out and a new rebrand website is coming out real soon, and I will let you know when it comes out. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and see you next time, guys. Bye.